You back.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess that just means
You gotta use your green light.
yeah, we won't be drawing today. We'll just have to be I don't know if we're I don't know if we're live again on
Bama standard.
yeah.
Look.
Well, let's not
Right here's.
dox
Hmm?
all of our credentials. It does not look like we are live on the BAM standard.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah, I
Now we're
see ya.
back live on the BAM standard, and we just won't be drawing today because that is what seems like it's breaking is drawing on the screen. So,
Yeah, your cousin says she can hear you but can't see you, and I can't see the screen.
okay.
Now I can. What about now, Monica?
Okay. So, right.
Even the green dot is out.
Yeah, the green dot is we're just going to have to we're just going to
All
have to
right.
roll with it today.
We'll try to reference numbers best we can.
Yeah. Yeah, the drawing's not working, but we got the film, so we'll just have to be pretty descriptive today. Maybe you can see my cursor instead.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got what is effectively a forefront, and we're calling it an over because the three technique, this guy who is outside shade of the guard, is lined up on the same side as the tight end, which is this guy, number 86. Right, so we've put the three technique to the strength of the formation. And what's interesting is once he goes in motion, right, you can see the shift here, right? Change strength motion, so we're going to change the strength of our defense to stay in an over front. But what I like most about this is we were talking about run fits last week, right? And we were talking about closing open windows and all that kind of stuff, linebacker stepping up to the gap. And this is like picture perfect of how this should work. We're getting split zone. Everybody's working to the left. Tight ends coming back to kick out on the right. And we've got number 10 not being hesitant this week, right? He's in here, steps in his gap. 41 gets underneath the block. Boom.
Boom. That's good play.
Right. And the subtle thing that's missed here is who is this? This is number 11 at the defensive end position, actually getting hands on the tight end. Now, it seems minor, but this actually might be something that I might actually steal and show to our guys. Um, because 85 is trying to release right now and go up to number 41. And because 11 gets hands on him right here, he's not trying to smash this dude. He's just trying to alter the down block. And because we get a little bit of hands on him, it makes it difficult for him. Right now, he's out of position to make this block. And
Mhm.
because he misses, this is how we get a textbook gain tackle. This is exactly what it's supposed to look like.
Very nice. So you're seeing improvement from the linebackers being able to get downhill and not being so hesitant. And defensive line play where you're getting hands on somebody. Small, minor detail, but helps 41 play just because of the way our lineman plays up front. let these linebackers run and go get it. Why do you think it took so long for us to be able to get that though? Why? I mean, that's
I
things
don't
you
know.
learned a long time ago. College, first year up there, some cursing out going on, or just good coaching by Womack and the staff being able to start talking about this. Who gets credit?
I don't know. It's one of those things where I've listened to a lot of coaches talk about like when they're recruiting, especially at linebackers. Uh, they're always talking about I want to see him defeat a block and like get off of a block. And as you're going through and you're looking at linebackers in high school, especially the good ones, a lot of times you don't ever actually see them defeating blocks,
Running around block?
right? Because they don't have to, because they're better than everybody. So they're either sniffing it out and they're just avoiding blocks, or they're getting there faster than everybody else. Um, so maybe there's a little bit of that going on before of they're using their hands and things is they know they should be doing it, but they've gotten away with not having to do that um, for a long time.
That's a great picture right there. Look at this lineman on his back over here, right at the SEC logo. Yeah. I didn't see what happened, but he's getting a
Oh,
little.
he got trashed. That's what happened. Really? This is what happens
Probably
when
hit
D
first.
linemen are using their hands, locking out.
Well,
Get out the
well,
way.
I want to talk about that right for a second. Very minor again. So he was in a 2-eye at first,
Yep, he was in a 2-eye at first, just over to a
moves
3.
over to the 3, but the guy goes to reach and he attacks the center, right, and not the other guy. So fighting pressure
Yeah,
essentially.
I'm
So
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna say that he was based on the other three and how they're playing. It seems like he was actually going the wrong direction here.
yeah,
Look at everybody else. He's going back the other way.
all right, I'm good with that. Okay, that's a good play.
Okay, so this one here, this I really just put in here because this is more of as we're putting stuff in our own playbook and we're picking stuff out. I'm starting to recognize things that we do that other teams are doing, and this right here really kind of just looks like Finland, which I know that means nothing to our audience, but we're getting a safety blitz here that actually kind of it we get a guy free. We just don't get there. We don't get home fast enough, right? I'm not counting here. I'm not counting Bray as a safety,
18.
right? I'm not counting him. I know his position is actually a safety, but right now, based on the
Call him a
personnel they got
backer.
out here, he's a linebacker.
Yep.
Um, but what I like about this is how he stunts into B gap and then loops into A. Meanwhile, Saab is trailing and is going to go right into this hole that's created by Bray.
Bray. Wow. Big hit.
Right, we're getting, and it's a nice simulated pressure too. Now I know why they're dropping out. They're bringing to Bray on your screen here, and then Saab coming into the B gap. So they're replacing those two guys, which is why it's a simulated pressure, right? He's going to drop out. 10's going to kind of drop out and replace those two guys. But in this case, if 10 actually gets to go here, this might actually be a sack, or
He
we affect
whoops
the
him
quarterback a
a
little bit.
running back.
Right. Because now there's nobody for the running back, or there's nobody for Bray coming in the middle here.
Yep. So it's not bad. I don't know what the down distance was.
Let's see. down in distance. It's 3rd and 8.
Yeah, trying to make him get rid of it kind of quick.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a calculated risk here. You're thinking, hey, if you catch the ball, you just got to get him on the ground. So they do get the conversion, but they're not all. You're not going to get home every single time.
Well, I'm basically he's talking about teach tape too, right? You can do a lot of these things in high school, which we do exactly. So it's when we question. That's a good way to put it. Hey, how do we feel about the defense? The schemes are always kept basically the same. When you go from one level to the next, if you're playing it, if you're trying to put high level stuff in, how you get to it, 3-man front, we run out of 4-man front, but essentially everything looks the same. Doesn't matter if you got 2 linemen, 3 linemen. We actually have 4 linemen that you're able to run the same type of coverage. Then we get some corners down here compressed. That'll be
Yeah, I mean the thing that actually I think we could actually do a little bit better at here is I think we're actually playing man and not particularly hot coverage behind it.
um,
So this deep safety here, if he actually just runs all the way through, he thought he was getting a pick here, and you'll see it. Right. He sees he's driving on number 2 and he stops, he hesitates. But if he actually goes all the way through to what looks like should have been his guy, we do get an
right.
incompletion there. But I think he got a little greedy.
I don't know. I think he was getting picked by that other wide receiver coming in there, trying to miss him. So it's okay. We put it on these guys pretty heavily, offensively and defensively. I just think we're the faster, more stronger team. Okay.
Okay, here. So this is a tight front or a mint front, depending on which coaching tree you're coming from. We got 2 4 eyes and a nose. So inside shade of the tackle, inside shade of the tackle, head up on the center. We got 3 backers here. And they run a little bit of a stunt here too. Right. Now it
Mhm.
gets picked up and sometimes it does. But the idea when you're doing these things, right, you're not always trying to get a guy free. That should be relatively hard to do, but you can get one-on-ones and take
Yes.
your chances and say one of our guys is going to beat one of your guys.
Yep.
Didn't
Because they got
particularly happen here, but
very tight coverage.
right. So we go back to the wide angle. We can look at Bray up top at the top of your screen, playing coverage very, very well.
A couple picks,
Right, catch technique.
catch
Right,
technique. I like the
where
catch technique where you're just kind of sitting there and you let them run into you. The rules are a little bit different in college than the pros. This is not a penalty. In the pros, it would have been right, jamming the guy downfield. But
mm-hmm.
I mean, because he catches them at about 7, which they will definitely call that in the league. But essentially, when we're talking about catch technique, and for your DBs that are talking about this, and we're still trying to get our guys to understand this, is you're not backpedaling very, very fast out of here. Again, you got to know down and distance and what's going on. You're trying to get to the sticks and you're catching. You're trying to get your hands on this guy, disrupt his route a little bit. You're opening up just a tiny bit. So he's trying to stick him with that left hand and got pretty damn good vision here to be able to see the quarterback throw this ball. That's what grade is this guy in? It's pretty good. What year is he?
Junior. I don't know. Don't make me lie. I don't know.
So someone can tell us, but it's a pretty doggone good play by him. You know, at this down and distance as well.
So
Okay,
this is the last one for defense here. This is just another stunt that they have. This is a 5-0 and a 9 essentially. Should have looked at down and distance here. What is it?
use
It's
your
3rd and
cursor for
10.
that with 5 zeros and
Okay. 5 out
uh,
here, outside shade of the tackle. 0 head up on the center. Calling this we're gonna call it a wide nine. A nine would be outside of the tight end. So if you can imagine that there would be an extra person right here, he's outside of that. He's not a five because he's not shaded on the tackle. He's way out here.
Yep. And this is always interesting because as the quarterback, you're trying to figure out who's coming out of them other three guys standing up back there. I mean, maybe you're thinking, well, it's just a guy that walked up to the line, but they could send anybody if they wanted to. Um, so you're trying to create a little chaos, a little confusion, get the lineman turning one way, and hopefully later send Bray or some safety or somebody else.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
this right here is just a good old fashioned tech stunt pick play. Right there you go. There's your free hitter.
it's crazy how that works. That's nasty. That's nasty. So the pick play, uh, we're picking 75, 76. What is
Yeah,
his number?
75, picking 75, got 78 to turn his shoulders.
Yep. And there's no way he can whip back around to get this guy. Now you got a guy right in the quarterback's face, forcing him to, you know.
Yeah, and the thing about it though is, I'm sure if any Wisconsin fans are watching this and they're trying to figure out why their back didn't pick this up, it's because he's got a checklist that he's going through too, right? The line is gonna identify the mic, which I'm assuming they probably picked 0 here because
Hmm.
he's the backer that's like right here in the box. Like, why would they not block this dude? So he's looking probably 10 to 18, and he might not even be looking up 18, depending on how their protection rules are set. They might actually be saying they're going to pick up 5, and they're going to use the mic to determine which of those 5 they're going to pick up. And it may have been this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and they're saying this guy is the back's responsibility. And then the back might scan back to 18 or to a safety or whoever and say block most dangerous. But the offense is looking at this and saying this is essentially 4 down linemen. And he's not looking for this.
Yep. You try to get a little chip, but it don't matter. I love the way you pausing these things. Look at the quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like a little meme, something. Okay. All right. A little bit of offense. Uh, so the ugly. Look at that wide receiver. I'm still trying to figure out. Now he had a tremendous game. Ty Simpson, I'm talking about, just right there. I mean, that's touchdown. And he already had. It looks like he's looking that way. I know he's looking at the guy at the 50. I think he's just trying to get to the sticks and get the first down. I'm going to assume it's something in short.
Let's
No,
see. It's 4th down, 2 to go. So
shoot.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is definitely not looking at that ball. That is not in his read right now.
No. So you got to put those in account too. People are like, man, how did he miss this guy? And he's wide open because he's looking for the guy to just get the first down. But the backers jumped up on our guy sitting directly in the middle of the field. I think that's who he's looking at, you know. And then he goes back. He's just looking for people at sticks. But, geez. So, when we're talking about those split second decisions, right now he's going to that curl. Is that a curl? At the middle, right at the
Yeah.
top of the A. But he could have easily thrown it for a house call. Then you got an extra defender with the official being in the way. So don't get mad at Ty for that. That wasn't his read. That probably wasn't a read at all for him. Even though the receivers down there going like, "Hey, I'm wide open," but he
Yeah,
probably was
no,
way.
that's a ball that you're looking for when it's like 1st and 10, right? 1st and 10, you take a glance at that. 4th and 2, Not so much.
Or if you game planning them and you know they're going to jump up on this stuff and
Hmm.
you're telling them to look deep. And I don't think that's the case. So um, maybe we could call that a bad play, but not really. All right. So the next one, I think third
Third and 9.
9.
You want the wide on this?
Yeah. Okay. This is the good one. This is like when you're talking about being able to throw the ball, and we're talking about Ty. So if you watch the whole game, you just see how comfortable he was standing in the pocket, really being up really high and things. But JT, this guy, he threaded the ball into this coverage over people. Someone's breathing down his neck. He's getting ready to get hit. If in the timing, go back to that when he released the ball, Ryan Williams is has no idea where the ball is. Ball's already gone. I mean, it's out there by the DB already in a perfect spot. There's three guys around this guy. That is fabulous. You know, by all accounts, he probably should have broke all these completion records for the most consecutive completed passes in Alabama history or whatever. But I mean, this is crazy to me. I mean, he gets destroyed too. There's not a lot of guys who are standing there and put that right in that spot. So when you're talking about possibility of the offense and how good that can be, throwing the ball. We'll talk about the running here in just a second, but throwing the ball, that one, regardless of how open he was, looked like the Cowboys game where guys were running all over the place. That's not what this was. He wasn't necessarily that wide open, but he felt confident enough to know that he could put the ball out there. That's accuracy when you start to evaluate talent, at the pro level. Um, and I don't know where he's ranked at. That kind of stuff. I didn't look at PFF and all that kind of stuff. But to be able to throw that ball in there, that's a really high level pass, regardless of who you playing. That's a big time throw. All right, that's all I had on that one. Okay, so the bad JT, this is a touchdown. People saying, well, why is this bad? I think it's bad because we couldn't run the ball. The only guy that had a rushing touchdown is your starting wide receiver.
Yeah, and I
you
mean,
know,
this probably really shouldn't have been. He got in, but he probably shouldn't have.
no, he shouldn't have. If the cornerback triggers out here and runs around our big lineman, probably tackles him before he gets into the end zone. Tremendous effort by him, but we'll go back and talk about the play a little bit. So I think you got a center pull and the
Yep, center
guard.
guard. You got the
So
athletic to
that's
do that.
it's not an easy block by your tackle to go all the way down and pin the one technique, right? Fast
Hmm.
enough. The right side of the line, look at this takeover block by our right guard. That's, I mean, we're probably screaming at our right guard or right tackle.
Right tackle.
We're screaming at our defensive lineman if you get reached like that. But that's speed and quickness. What I liked about this is that's our linemen are pretty agile. The center gets out. I mean, he's booking it. This is a lot of time on the tape. You can see how well he runs. And then you just see how fast the first steps are by all the guys up front. It's pretty solid. You got a running back that's blocking the defensive end on the left.
Yep.
I mean, they're asking him to do some pretty tough things, but still, my whole point of this was okay. It's a great play, but you end up with 70 yards rushing, 300 something passing, or whatever it was. Okay, it's a big win, but if we don't figure out a way to run the ball, there's going to be I think I saw Ephraim say something about they had a pretty good run defense. They did. But imagine how this is going to be if you're playing against someone else, who maybe has a better secondary as well. If you can't run the ball,
Hmm.
um, and if they start to shut your pass down a little bit, it can make for some long games. So I'm interested to see how we develop this run game. Is it just our running backs? Is there something going up front? Do we miss Jam that much? You know, I don't know how fast we are, and we felt like we need to put, um, a wide receiver back there just to get some speed around the edge. I think that would make you feel some kind of way if you're a running back. That hey,
Yeah, you can't. They're trusting other guys to do that.
yes, I mean, so that's a concern for me because it don't seem like we've seen that we've been that explosive in any of the games with our running backs. They're good running backs, got it, but it just looks as physical as we're being up front some of the time anyway. Just don't seem like we have that extra gear. Um, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Stacey says it looks like Grubb doesn't want to run the ball. I think when you throw the ball for 400 yards, it's easy to get away from the run. And when you're up by how, how much were we up before they even started? Before they even scored? I mean, it was over right at that time. And now we're just
Hmm.
so I don't know. We're gonna have to do something to get better up here. I'm not sure when Jam comes back. Maybe it helps some, but we got to do better in the running game if we're really going to compete the way that we are. So, or the way that we need to be competitive for a national championship, we got to be able to run um, the ball. No, they didn't run the ball very much. I don't know that that's his style. I shouldn't say that that's his style, but I think they're going to put the ball in the quarterback's hand and just think about Washington, right? I don't know how much they ran the ball. They ran it, but it was all on um, Penix's arm, right? Most of the time, I think. So we're gonna have to fix that though in this SEC ball. We're gonna have to be able to run the ball a little bit better with your running backs because you're gonna end up getting some. He ain't Debo Samuel. I don't know if we got any Debo Samuels on our squad. He's a big, tough, physical running back, but you take a beating at that level. Um, so what do we got? We talked about the defense improving in certain areas. I think that was I don't know. Maybe they can put it in the chat. Are people still wanting to fire Womack? Uh, okay, Stacy. Stacy's saying, hey, Grubbs got fired for not being balanced. What is balance? How do you define balance nowadays, JT? What is a balanced offense? We're coaching. What are we saying is balance? Is it
60
true?
40. I mean, it ain't 50-50 no more. 60-40 is about normal.
So can we look? What do we have? How many runs and how many passes do we have? Yeah, 382 yards passing, 72 yards rushing.
I guess you
Average
got to
per
look at
play was
attempts.
8.7. Huh?
I guess you got to just look at attempts versus
Mm-hmm. 6, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
22 carries.
2.
Well, I don't know. Jury's still out on. I guess they got Ty Simpson for 6 carries. I don't know how many of those were scrambles, but if you count them in there, it's like Jason the Bass says 30 passes and 22 rushes. That's yeah. What's the actual percentage of that? This is 30
Come on,
divided
mathematician.
by 55 or 52. Yeah, so 57% passed.
So that's not crazy skewed, right? I mean, in a normal
No, that's
sense.
probably about. I mean, that's where I'd expect.
Now, maybe do you worry that Kevin Riley had 7 of those carries and Ty Simpson scrambled, whatever, and is 7 carries enough for your running back for 20 yards, 2.9 yards a carry. Then everybody else is at two. Richard Young had four. Jeremy had the one for 2
2 yards and a
yards
touchdown.
and a touchdown. So, but you got a quarterback who's going 24 for 29. Again, game plan, right? What are you trying to get accomplished here? It just looked like they couldn't cover anybody, so you were gonna just keep slinging the ball. Ryan Williams, 5 catches, 165 yards. Good lord! I mean, aren't you just going in here at home and we're saying, hey, we're gonna just chunk this thing, get us a big win. So I don't know. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than what it actually was, but
So Keith is saying running the ball is different from just handing it off, and it is, which is why I would say if you're just looking at these numbers and you're averaging 3.3 yards a carry, then you probably should be either. Yeah, I mean that suggests to me, like if we're just playing these number game, that you probably should actually be running the ball less because that's less efficient. If you can throw for 12 yards a pass and you're only running for 3 yards a carry, that would seem to me that you probably shouldn't be running as much.
well, the goal is to get first downs, move the chains, and your passes don't have to be all deep balls. If you like you're saying, if you're averaging 8 yards a play and you're throwing the ball, that's pretty good, right? I mean, shoot, I don't know. I'm not going to complain about it, even though I'm a run the damn ball type of dude. But not if they're not going to cover anybody.
Right.
Keep throwing the doggone football all the way down the field and keep scoring. And then when it's time for you to try to get out and run the clock, then do it. I guess statistically, I'd like to know when all those runs came.
Yeah, I want to know what the actual efficiency numbers are on the rushes, right? Because I mean, if you pick up, for instance, let's say you are averaging 2 yards a carry, but you only run the ball on 3rd and 1, and you're averaging 2 yards a carry.
Mm.
That's efficient
Okay.
because yeah, it's only 2 yards a carry, but if you only needed 1 yard every time you did it, and you picked up two, then there's no problem here, right? Nobody is sitting here saying that the Eagles tush push isn't an efficient run, right? It's all
Right.
you're averaging 1 yard or maybe even 6 inches, but you only needed five. So
I mean, it was over at halftime. I didn't know how many passes they were going to end up throwing, and how if how much you're trying to do. So I'm not mad at it. Yeah, I'm seeing what happens when someone starts to shut down your passing game. Yes, you got to be able to run the ball and try to create something where you can have some play action. But going into the game, like I said, JT and I are sitting here coaching, and maybe you want to tell the story about if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. How you can outthink yourself a little bit as coordinator since you are a defensive coordinator.
yeah, I mean that's part of the game plan. Sometimes the defensive coordinator, right, is that these offensive coordinators a lot of times you give them a hitch every play and they're not gonna take it. They don't want to just take a hitch all the way down the field. They want to get cute and try to throw a bomb on you at some point, when you can just take these hitches and outs and pick up 5 yards and keep going. But I mean, we didn't change much on defense at all. I think I should have looked at it. I hadn't entered the calls yet, but I think we might have actually called something different 3 times.
3 times.
We had 56 plays.
I think someone influenced you on that. to do something different other than me telling you to blitz the one time. But
Yeah, that was one time. The other time was when they got down inside the 5. And then I think one was another just obvious passing situation.
yeah, towards the end. But I don't know. Yeah, we are entering SEC play, Stacy, and I think that we're gonna have to. I mean, we got to man up. What I like now, what I was afraid of before, is how physical we were. I don't feel that way now. Even on offense, you really can watch this film if you had access to the all 22 film. You'll see that our linemen are being very aggressive up there, and we're being very aggressive on defense. I think that's going to be bode well for us, but we we do have to create some running lanes somehow. So maybe when we get our running back, he's a little bit more savvy and a little bit more patient. Knows how to set up blocks. That's very important when it comes to it. When we're looking at it, sometimes you have to help your lineman with your running back just with their patience and allowing things to develop. Um, so I did speak to a source with the Dallas Cowboys, and they were talking about Miles Sanders and Javante Williams, why they use him over Blue, more, not because of injuries, but really just even though Blue was probably faster than both of them, say he wasn't patient enough. So he hit the hole too fast, you know. So he can get his 5 yards, but Miles turned into 50 because he waited,
Mm-hmm.
and then hit it. Yeah, he got caught. So everybody, man, he got ran down. He's too slow. They're saying, but Blue wouldn't even have made it that far because he would have ran right past the blockers and ran into the linebacker too fast, So I don't know. Maybe I'm saying that to say maybe once we get our running back, maybe he's a little bit more patient and will allow things to develop. Um, right. So that's all I got, man. I think they get a week to rest, get themselves back together, then they got to play Georgia, and it'll be. I think that's the real test, and it is going to be on the way. I did see someone in the chat talking about, hey, road games are super important. Um, they are, just like anything else. But I don't think you go in saying I think they got enough firepower to at least compete. I mean, Tennessee hung up how much on Georgia? 40.
Uh,
If you look at our new ticker down here on the bottom, it might run past you here in a minute.
um,
JT and his AI. You want to explain this whole AI thing you got going on
if you
down here
say
or whatever?
AI, all I did was have it just print out the scores for me. It didn't do the ticker. It just it just went and got me the scores, so I didn't have to type it. Cause
What do you mean? If you didn't have to type it, it did all the work. What do you mean? You say uh, whatever AI source that you use, pull up all the Division 1 football games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
yeah, I said I told it to give me all the scores of the top 25 teams from this Saturday, and then it gave me all the scores, and then I said, okay, but print it out like this. And I said team, score, dash, team, and then an F for final. And it just repeated that thing back to me. And then I copy pasted it and I put it in a file. And then I had to doctor up this ticker and get that on the screen so that we can have a good time, have a little score. I've been trying to do this ticker thing for years. So finally excited to have it.
Well, it looks good. Looks good. The chat looks good. Everything's looking good. I love our page. I love our flipping logo. I said flipping, not something else. Because it does flip. If y'all hadn't seen it, make sure you look at our Teague's Take logo on the bottom right. It spins a little bit. It's kind of cool, So Well, I think we'd be talking about the Alabama football team if we hadn't looked so bad uh, against Florida State. But here we are. He is experimenting. That's what coders do. They keep doing things and see how they can break it. Do y'all actually see how you can break it or how you fix it? What is the process here?
No, so there's two sides to those jobs. We do have an entire department whose job is just to try to figure out how to break things. Um, and it sometimes is super annoying because they intentionally like misuse the thing. So it's like
Checks and balances.
it's like to give an analogy about a car, like if you had software testers for a car, they would intentionally take your car and then just like put apple juice in the gas tank and be like, "Hey, the car doesn't work. There's a bug." It's like, well, you're not like nobody's gonna do that. You don't. That's not how you use the thing. And they're like, well, you should put something in there so that people can't just put apple juice in the gas tank. So that's why I say it gets frustrating sometimes because like that's not what it's for. Don't do that. And they're like, well, if it's not what it's for, then you
But
shouldn't allow
JT,
people to do that.
but JT, that's why they cover up your tailpipes now. People used to put bananas in your tailpipe back in the day. That's not what it's for, but people throw it in there and they got a little mad at you, and
Yeah, but like
there you go.
they didn't go to Toyota and be like, hey, you can't sell these cars because people can put bananas in tailpipes. They're just like, hey, don't do that. That's not what it's for.
People siphon gas, which is nasty, by the way. How do you who invented that thing? I need some gas. How broke did you have to be to go suck
To
some
use
gas
some
out of the hose? And
you just gotta get it started. You don't have to suck on it the whole time. You just gotta get it going.
that's awful. Well, all right. Well, here we go. Um, oh yeah, it ain't theme music because that's a goodbye music. So we had a good one, man. We got to get to work early in the morning. We got more film. We got Green Hill this weekend, and we need to keep it rolling over at JP2. Just like Alabama has to keep things rolling as we get ready for those Georgia Bulldogs in a couple weeks. So y'all stay tuned. Follow us at Teague's Take. Hit those likes at Bama Standard. And you know what? We're gonna see y'all. Are we gonna do it? We'll come on next week. Maybe we'll show y'all some stuff. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll talk to you later. Peace out.